over is just being able to log in. So when you actually signed up, you should have gotten an email from us with a link to log in at with your username and password. Or you can always just go to www.passportonlineinc.com where you'll have member login at the top right. You can hop in there and log in. Instead of actually logging in through mine and kind of showing you that, I have some administrator tools that might just actually end up being more confusing. So I'm just going to show you some images of what it will look like when you log in. So after you log in, the very first screen it's going to take you to, it's going to ask you to go either into Agent Reports or into Other Tools where you'll see NexCite Website Tools. You'll want to go ahead and select NexCite Website Tools, and then that'll bring you to your site list where it's going to show your domain.vacationport.net. Important thing to note, if you've recently been migrated over from a NexCite standard over to a NexCite 2, you may have two sections. You want to make sure you're going into the one that's underneath your NexCite 2.0 site, and that's where you'll see that. So once you logged in and you've selected your site, you're going to come to a page that looks like this. This is your page admin, and that's where we're going to do our training today. So just really briefly, kind of want to introduce you to the different aspects of this page. So you have all of your tabs right here. So this is going to mimic what your tabs will look like on your live site. To look at your live site or to preview any site changes, you can use this little icon over here, the little computer monitor icon. That'll give you the option to view your live site or to preview your site. So if we were to look at my live site right now, these are the same tabs you should be seeing on it. So let's just take a quick peek so you can see that. All right, and you see those right there. So there are a lot of things actually you can do from this page. This is really where you're going to be doing most of your editing. This is where you'll go to add or delete pages, and then you can also reorganize your pages from here. So really quick, let's kind of show you some of the more basic things here. So if you had a page that you wanted to delete, for instance, you can always come over to the Manage over here and delete it. This will also allow you to add a sub-item. So a sub-item is going to be like a tab within a tab, which means that when you're looking at the live site, if you hovered over that tab, it would actually show you a drop-down menu where it would show you your sub-items. Another thing you can do right off from right here is you can actually make pages invisible. So just by clicking on that little light bulb icon, you can see that it makes that section a darker gray color. So if we were to preview the site right now, you would notice that my vacations page is no longer showing. So having invisible pages can be useful in a couple different ways. It can be useful if you're working on a page and you're just not ready for it to be live yet. Or if you wanted to actually have a page that is only accessible to, let's say, a group or something like that, maybe you have a group trip, you can always make a page and make it invisible. The only way then that people will be able to get to that page is if they had the direct URL to it. So that can be useful if you wanted only like a particular group of people to access it. And then all you have to do to actually make it visible again is just go ahead and click on that light bulb again, and then you'll see it pop up again. All right, so let's go ahead and actually hop into one of these pages so you can see what it looks like when you're in one and getting ready to edit. So if I were wanting to make a change on my home page, all I have to do is actually select title. And you'll see a pretty accurate depiction of what my home page looks like. So another way you can actually preview it is you'll have that preview page link right here that you can look at. So you'll notice on my home page I actually have two different columns. And you can see that I actually have two different sections for editing as well within the back end here. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of the flat and add in some text here. So the editing up here within it is going to be pretty similar to just like a basic Word document. It'll have a lot of the same options. All you have to do, just type it like normal. So you can say, welcome to us. So you'll notice that each section you have will have a title option and then the body section of it. You don't have to put in a title section. The good thing about putting things into the title section, though, is it's already pre-formatted to show as the title would show. So really quickly, if I want to save that and see what then with that, we can go ahead and preview the page. You'll see it's already pre-formatted to be a little bit bigger and a specific color to match your theme. All right, let's do some editing on the actual body here. So the same thing, you can just type in like normal here. And then you can also do things such as italicizing, bolding. You can also, if you wanted to, center that. So, like I said, pretty similar to a standard Word document. So you can always play around with that. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, let's pop back in here real quick. If you're copying and pasting from something like a Word document, which is totally fine, but if you're doing that, you'll want to make sure you're using this button right up here. So what this does is when you're pasting it, instead of just grabbing everything from that Word document and pasting it in as is, which can actually take a lot of formatting with it, which can be difficult to work with since it's hard to kind of see where it's coming from, this will strip all of the formatting out, and that way you don't have to struggle with trying to figure out, why is this indented or specific font, things like that. It's a lot easier to keep things looking consistent if you do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this as is. I'm liking how this looks. Let's go ahead and go back to our page admin. I want to show you really quickly how to reorder pages. It's super easy to do. You have two different places you can do it at. You can reorder menu right here, or you'll see that same option right up here to the left. It'll take you to the same place. It's going to bring you into just a listing of the different pages you have. From here, you're able to reorder it. So if for any reason I wanted my resources first, I could do that. And all I'm doing is dropping and dragging. So I'm just selecting it, holding down my mouse button, and moving it. I can also actually move sections into other sections from here. So let's say I wanted my cruises to actually be within vacations. All I have to do is drag it underneath vacations and then move it over to the right. So let's go ahead and save that so you can see what that looks like. Again, I'm using my little icon over here. And you'll see this new icon pops up. This will come up if you have any unpublished changes, so let you know about that. So now you'll see that I don't have my cruises page showing right off the bat, but if I hover over my vacations page, I'll see it right there. And then just as a reminder, that's what a sub item was. So right there, that add sub item. This is what cruises now is a sub item. All right, let's go ahead and actually add a new page here. So to add a new page, all you have to do is select add item. And then it's going to give you a variety of different options as far as what kind of page you want to use. We go over these more in detail in the intermediate training, but for now, let's concentrate on these top three ones here. Most of the time, you'll probably be using the option to do just a blank page. So that's exactly what it sounds like. It gives you a new page. It doesn't have any content on it or anything yet. Just lets you kind of make it however you want. You can also do a new from model page. So we actually have some pages that have been pre-designed for you that you can actually work off of. So if we wanted to actually look at that really quick, I'll show you that, what that looks like. So we have three different home pages you can choose from. So if you wanted to actually make a new home page and you're wanting to kind of have something to go off of, you can use these. So those will already come with this content preloaded on those pages. And then we also have our default cruises, vacations, resources, and customer service pages available there as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel, so I'm not going to go through with that. We're going to actually use the blank page. And the other one is to do new from existing page. So that's kind of similar to a model page, but this just means you can take any page you already have in existence and basically duplicate it and then work off of that. So that could be really useful if you have something like agency bios, for example, and you just kind of want to make sure that you're keeping them consistent. You could always create one and then just do new from existing page, where you would select that one and just make duplicate copies of that same page, and then just update each one with the specific information of the agent. That way it will look really nice and clean. So now let's go ahead and do a new blank page. That way I can kind of show you how you can get to the point where you're editing and adding content. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Now the first thing you'll have to do is title it. So I'm just going to make one called My Trip. Now the next option is whether you want that page to be visible or not. So we kind of already went over that already. For now I'll just leave it visible. And then you can also filter it by content. So for example, if you're wanting to do a specific page just about cruises, you can always filter the content to make sure that only cruise content, so only cruise offers would show on that page. For now though, I'm just going to leave it so there's no filter on it. And then you can pick your page layout. So you'll remember that the home page was 2 columns. So that was the layout that was used on the home page. You can use whichever one you want, and it doesn't really matter, and you can always change it later. It's really easy to change, so I'll show you how to do that too. So basically all it is just an easier way for you to kind of help organize your content and make it look basically how you'd like it to look. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and, just as an example, I'm going to go ahead and choose this one right here. So all I'm doing is just selecting it and then adding page. So you'll see I have my 2 areas on the left here and then my 1 area right over here. And right now these areas, they aren't assigned as any type of area yet. So that's the next thing we're going to go ahead and do, is we're going to assign what kind of section we want this to be. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit Add. And here you'll see all the different things I can assign that section to be. I'm going to actually recommend that for your sections, you're always selecting text blocks. The reason for that is if you have it assigned as a text block, you can actually still add any of these things within a text block. And it just makes it easier if you're changing things up. That way you don't have to clear it out and re-add it in. So just remember, try to use a text block most of the time. We're going to go ahead and save that. And then you'll see this looks really similar to what it was looking like on the home page. So I have my title section here and my body down here. So just kind of to make sure you can see what this will look like, I'm just going to put in title and body. And you'll see there's actually going to be a padding option here too. So you'll see that in all of your sections. What that means is it's just going to clear a space around that section that's 15 pixels thick. So that means that you're not going to have columns right next to each other where the wording doesn't have enough spacing between it. So the default is 15. Most of the time we're just going to want to leave it at 15. So you can see now I have this section actually started with my title and my body. Same exact things for these other ones. We can just go ahead and do another text block. We'll do title 2 and body 2. And lastly, let's go ahead and do this one as well. And we're going to do a text block. Let's do title 3. And let's fix this. Okay. Go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and preview that page. So you can see I already have it organized where I have my title showing here, title 2 here, title 3 here. Let's say that I wanted to switch this. Maybe I had content over here that I decided, you know what, that would make more sense if I moved it over here. Super easy to do. Let's go ahead and go back into there. So all you have to do to change these is go to Manage and Move, and it'll let you actually select the different portions. So right now, because I selected that one, that's going to be the yellow one. And then what I'm going to do is just going to select where I want it to switch to. So I want it to switch right there. So go ahead and move it. And now you'll see that those two have switched. All right. So there's two other things we're going to go through here. I'm going to show you how to rename a page in case you're working on one and you decide you want to change it. All you have to do is go into the page properties. So you can see I called it My Trips before. Maybe I wanted to change it and make it Sex Vacations. So this title right here is going to be the page title. The menu title is going to be what shows from the menu, so that would be like your navigational link. And then the page name, the URL, is going to be what shows in the URL when somebody goes there. So now remember for these, you can't have spaces. But this can be super helpful, especially if you're giving somebody a link to a specific page. You are able to actually name that. So again, if you wanted to have like a group page or something like that, you could always name it something specific to that group. For now, I'll just leave it at Vacations though. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I can preview page. Now you'll see that my tab is called Best Vacations. All right, lastly, so I've made all these pages, or sorry, I've made all these changes. Nothing is going to be on the live site until we actually publish it. So that's the last thing I'm going to show you how to do here. So there's a couple different ways to get into publishing. We have a publishing option over here on the left. Also, when you have pending publications, you'll see this little notification over here. If I go back to my page admin, you'll notice little stars next to anything that I have that isn't published yet. So that's what those are about. It's just to let you know that there's changes on there that aren't yet live. Let's go into publishing and get those actually live here. All I have to do is select them. So if for some reason maybe I was still working on Best Vacations, wasn't ready to make that live yet, I can just not check that one. So you just check the ones that you are ready to go live. I'm going to go ahead and publish those. And then you can always discard changes as well. So if you were working on something and decided you didn't really like the way it looked, you can always discard it. So now if we look at our live site, I can see I published that, so that's now showing underneath it. I totally got rid of the Best Vacations, so I don't see that anymore at all. And all of those changes are live.